And we're live. Welcome to the SB Fantasy Football Podcast with your pal Alan. That's me. NFL season's here. Week 1. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna have questions. Start, sit. If you got trade questions, whatever it is, let me know what you guys are looking at. I threw the short out there earlier asking for your questions. I got a couple questions that came through that we'll make sure we'll touch on. That we will talk about one of those Drake May, Bo Nix, who we starting, which one we picking, CMC. What are we doing with CMC? You know, we got to figure that out. I mean, I know what I'm doing with CMC. I'm completely avoiding him at all costs. I don't like CMC. I'm just going to start with that, guys. Unsure of what's going to be going on with him. He's listed as questionable. This just everything screams last year. Last year with CMC. He was good until he wasn't. And then he was like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he's questionable. Oh, he says he feels great. He says he's going to play, possibly. And then next thing you know, you just have the carpet ripped out from under you, and he's not playing, right? Don't get caught with your pants down with him. I think the 49ers, if I remember correctly, let me just pull this up real quick. Your 49ers play, they got a 3 o'clock game. So if you've got anybody in the noon window, unless the word comes out and says he is playing 100%, I'm not playing him. I'm just not. I'm not risking that. Now, if I got some other guys there in the 3 o'clock window that I can sub out last minute, cool. What's going on, Duncan? How we doing, brother? Hope we're doing good, guys. We're live over on YouTube as well as TikTok. We're doing both. That's going to be kind of the norm for this year, doing TikTok and YouTube. But yeah, CMC, I'm not. I can't trust him. I can't trust the guy. I mean, if he's playing, awesome, cool. You know, pretty good matchup against Seattle. I like that. But I wouldn't Duncan. I I just I don't want to get caught with my pants down again. Now, if you got someone else in that 3 o'clock window that you can play, then leave the option open, right? But if you don't have any other running backs in that 3 o'clock window, and you don't have a Garendo, or actually they came out and said Brian Robinson Jr. is the number 2 out there. Brian Robinson Jr. I'm not. I'm going to start my guys that are in the noon window because I know they're going to play. And this brings up a big question that I get every year where people are like, hey, I got a guy who's questionable in the 3 o'clock window, but I got guys that I know are going to play in the noon. I'm playing the guys that I know are going to play in that noon window. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to chance it. I'm going to go ahead and go with the guy that I know is for sure going to play versus the guy that I don't know. If there's question marks, give me the guy that's going for sure. So, guys, if you throw your start sit questions in the chat, I do try to do everything I can to get to every single one of them. But yeah, let's get into some more questions. The other question I had going was Drake May or Bo Nix. Who we starting this week? Drake May, Bo Nix. You got to look at your matchups when you're looking at that. You got 2 guys that I think are going to have pretty decent years this year. You've got Bo Nix. They're playing Tennessee, and I absolutely love that matchup. Like I really like Bo Nix there. If I'm trying to find the New England game here real quick. New England's playing Las Vegas, another really good matchup. I'm gonna lean towards Bo Nix tonight, kiddo. Love you. 5 o'clock. I'm gonna lean towards Bo Nix in that. I think Bo Nix's offense is gonna do more than your New England offense. I think New England's going to be really revolving around the run. Denver's going to be run heavy as well, but they're also going to sling that ball around. JMO 3-year, $83 million. Is that a contract that happened? Is that some breaking news there, Duncan? If it is, I hadn't seen it yet. I like Detroit re-signing him, or is that you just throwing things out here? I can't tell with you, Duncan. I can't tell with you at all. Um, but yeah, I love JMO tomorrow. I love everything about the Detroit offense. Yeah, it just happened, dude. That's awesome if that just happened. I like that we're locking them up for a few years. Um, I think we had one more year on him, so that would be 4 years total. You have personal contacts. Okay, well we'll see then. Um, we'll see then if that's really happened. I will wait. I'll definitely drop something when I see that for sure because I'm a big Lions guy here. And I like JMO. I love him in that offense. I like Isaac Tesla. Now I'm not going to get crazy and start playing Tesla in week one, right? Look at ESPN. Okay, I'll pull it up, Duncan. Let me see what's going on here. Let me see. I don't see anything here. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. You pulling the old okey doke on me? Yeah, I don't see anything. It's not there for a trash. That's a lot of money. He's not trash. He's not trash at all. I love JMO. So, but yeah, give me Bo Nix over Drake May. It is close, but I really feel like Bo Nix is going to have a really good year this year. He, once they got him going in that offense last year, Sean Payton really eased him into it, and didn't rush him throwing the ball all over the place. No, it's true. Old people, I tell you, cannot check the internet. Okay. All right, Duncan. I mean, hey, if it's true, I like it. That's all I gotta say. I love it. Um, but yeah, give me Bo Nix over him, over Drake May. I do really like Drake May though, for sure. Let's just kind of go. We're just gonna kind of go down and look at these games and talk about some of these players that I really like. Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I really like. I mean, a big Baker guy. I like Baker. I think Baker's going to have another monster year this year. Michael Penix. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen there. Um, Odds are you don't have Michael Penix as your starting quarterback, though, right? He went later in the draft. There was definitely a lot of guys that went ahead of him. Um, Emeka Ibuka is a player that I really like this year. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver on a lot of things that I'm seeing out there. And you really know that Tampa's going to sling that ball all over the place. Uh, Over on the Atlanta side, I'm avoiding like the plague Kyle Pitts. I don't trust him. He's done nothing but hurt my heart year after year. I went all in on him last year and he did nothing but disappoint me, and I'm just not buying him this year until proven otherwise. But Drake London, though, Drake London's the guy that I'm in on, and Bijan Robinson, obviously, right? A lot of people have Bijan as their 1-1. He's going to be the number 1 RB this year. I'm more along the lines of another guy that's in the noon window over with the Bengals. I'm big on Chase Brown this year. I absolutely love Chase Brown. I love what the Bengals offense does. I want any part I can get of that Bengals offense. Um, I mean, the tight end has been kind of a weak position for them, not putting up a lot there. But maybe that changes this year. We'll see. But I mean, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown's just going to absolutely ball out this year. I think he's going to end up being your RB1 this year at the end of the year. So I love playing him. Cleveland. I mean, we'll see what the old guys still got. And if the old guys still got it, all right. You've got some guys that might be pretty decent out there. The running back situation, I'm kind of staying away from until we figure out what's going on with that. Jerome Ford, Dylan Sampson, Quinton Judkins just signed a 4-year deal. I think it was today or late yesterday to finally be the last draft pick to be signed this year. Of course, he had all the allegations going on, so that's what kind of pumped the brakes on that a little bit. But I would like to see what's going to happen there in that running back room to see who ends up becoming the guy, and we'll see. Maybe here in the next week or two. Miami and Indy. I like Danny Dimes, people. I really do like Danny Dimes. I think that Colts offense is going to be a lot better this year under Danny Dimes versus Anthony Richardson. I like Michael Pittman. Josh Downs might be all right this year as well. Tyler Warren is the new big tight end that everyone's talking about. He's going to be the big rookie tight end that's going to explode this year. So keep your eyes on Tyler Warren. Uh, Jonathan Taylor, obviously, looking at him being good. I just think with Danny Dimes, I think he's in a much better place this year than he was last year. Last year, that Giants team was just awful. Um, the offensive line was bad. They're starting to put some weapons there, but I think he's in a much better place this year. I don't think he's going to be like the roll on fire and be a top 10, but he's definitely going to be someone who's going to be viable to cover bye weeks. If you have a quarterback who gets injured, Danny Dimes is a guy that I'm okay with. On the Miami side of things, we got to see what Tua does. What's going to happen with Tua? Is Tua going to dive headfirst, or is he actually going to be able to stay upright and not have yet another concussion, right? Um, we'll see what happens with that. But if Tua's there, I like that offense. I like Devin Achane. Um, Ollie Gordon is a guy that could possibly get some love this year. We'll see what kind of happens with that. He should be more of your red zone target, right? Your red zone running back, your big bruising back. Um, Tyreek Hill, we'll see what's going on with him. Does he make a comeback this year? Uh, and Jalen Waddle, you know, they're all going to be dependent upon Tua staying healthy and Tua staying upright. All right, we got a question over here on YouTube from Joshua. What's going on, Joshua? How you doing? He says pick 2 RBs and 1 flex PPR. Okay, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Jerome Ford, Zay Flowers, Debo Samuel. Okay. I'm gonna pick Jacobs and Connor. I'm just unsure what's going to go on with that Browns running back situation. Jerome Ford was supposed to kind of take over last year, and he was just kind of meh. Um, so we'll see what happens with him. And then for the flex, I think I'm going to lean towards. I think I'm going to lean towards Debo. With Debo, you're getting a guy who that they find ways for him to get the ball. Playing the Giants, easy matchup, right? I like that matchup versus Zay Flowers with that Buffalo team. I know Buffalo's defense is going to be pretty good. We'll see what Zay can do, but give me Debo in the flex, and I'm going to start Josh Jacobs and James Conner. Then pick 2 for my other league. Pick 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, also PPR. Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, Zay, Josh Downs, and Bigsby. I'm going to go with Jameson Williams and Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's the number 1 receiver out there, so I definitely always want to go with the number 1 receiver. Jameson Williams, I really like JMO. Um, I'll go ahead and let you know in case you don't know. Bro, bless your beard. Thank you so much, Josh, over there on TikTok. I I'm a Lions fan, but I think Jameson Williams. The Lions were the only team in the league last year with 2 receivers with 1,000 yards receiving. JMO, they're really going to be looking to get him involved in that offense a lot. That Green Bay team, divisional team in Green Bay. Dan Campbell's looking to put all the doubts to bed there. So give me JMO for sure. Garrett Wilson, and then for a flex, I want to I want to lean a little bit towards Josh Downs. Um, I'd like they're playing Miami. Miami's defense isn't that great. Um, Zay, I'm nervous about the Buffalo matchup. He could be big. Bigsby, you just don't know what we're gonna get in that running back situation there. I'm week one. I'm probably going to avoid the running backs for Jacksonville because is it going to be ETN? Is it going to be Bigsby? Is it going to be Tootin? I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. I think it's going to be kind of the hot hand type thing. Um, I do like Josh Downs. I do like Zay Flowers. Uh, Baltimore's more of the running team, where I think you're going to see a little bit more passing out of the Colts. It's close for me between Zay Flowers and Josh Downs. I'm going to lean towards Josh Downs. Let's see here. Kyle, what we got here? I'm down bad due to Worthy and Pickens. Dude, yeah, I got a big old goose egg on my side from Worthy for sure. I have a 35% chance to win. Should I double stack Josh Allen and Shakir and Coleman, or should I use Jakobi Meyers? Pick two, please. Man, I don't know that I'm going to double stack. I don't think I'm going to double stack Kyle. And I don't know who I want to go with, Shakir or Coleman. I'm going to go ahead and throw Jakobi Meyers in there. Let's get him in there, especially with the news Amari Cooper's not going to play. Jacoby's going to end up benefiting from that for sure. Plus, he wants a trade. He's going to have to show out in order for teams to want to trade for him. So give me Jakobi Meyers and give me second year player Keon Coleman. It's close for me between. I could almost flip a coin between Shakir and Coleman, but you always see kind of like a level up for these receivers their second year, and I think they want Keon Coleman to be more. So look for Keon Coleman to have a big year this year. Although if you went with Shakir, if you felt better about Shakir, I wouldn't blame you. I could go either or. I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Coleman myself. I talked about it already, but now that you're here, I'll talk about it again. Nix or Drake May, I'm going Bo Nix. I like that. I like that Denver offense more. I love the matchup against Tennessee. Drake May, I think Drake May will have a good game as well. They're playing Vegas, but I want to lean a little bit more towards Bo Nix. You really start to see Bo Nix come into his own, especially the second half of the season, and was just really almost became a must start the second half of the season. Bo Nix did. It just really was great. I like the connection between him and Sutton. Plus, you've got Evan Ingram now, so you've got another nice target there, and we've seen what Sean Payton can do when he has a really good tight end there. So look for Bo Nix and Evan Ingram to start connecting. Courtland Sutton. I like Bo Nix. It's a little bit close, but I think Bo Nix has got the edge on that. Are you still going Stevenson over Travion Henderson for right now? I'm gonna go with the guy that I know starting. But also, here's what we know about Mike Vrabel. He will ease a rookie in and not go full bore with his rookie to start with. Look at what he did with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry wasn't getting very little action when he first came into the league. And they had a veteran running back there ahead of him, and he wasn't doing much, but he still kept going with the veteran over the rookie and was easing the rookie in. Kind of like what the Lions did a couple of years ago with Jahmyr Gibbs. They really eased them into the offense. They didn't force them into it. They gave them a little bit here, a little bit there, and just kind of eased them into it. So week one, yeah, I want to go. If those are my options, I'm going to go Stevenson over Travion Henderson, just because I feel like what we know from the past with Mike Vrabel is he'll ease his rookie running backs into the offense and into the flow of the game. So, and I think you saw it with, what Travion opened up number 3. I think he's RB number 3. Now, do I think that's going to be the same story at the end of the season? No. I think by the time that the season's done with, Travion will take over that backfield, unless Stevenson can find what he did a couple years ago. DJ Moore or Buka, are we talking PPR? Espen? Is it I'm assuming it's PPR, but I'm gonna go with the number one wide receiver. In this case, DJ Moore is the number one there in Chicago. Um, so yeah, PPR. Yeah, I like Ibuka. I really do. Um, for me personally, I mean, drafting, I was drafting Ibuka over DJ Moore, but it's also because I also believe in that Tampa Bay offense more than I do the Chicago offense, because we know what we're getting with that offense versus we're still trying to figure out what Caleb Williams is, honestly, right? But that being said, DJ Moore's the number one wide receiver. I'm going to take the number one over the guy who's the number two, especially the guy who's the number two is a rookie, and you're not quite sure what his target share is going to look like. Let's go DJ Moore. Caleb's really going to focus on getting him the ball. That's his guy. You've got, what's the matchup there, too? Let me just take a look. The Minnesota's defense is pretty good, but they've got a lot of guys that are possibly going to be out, especially in that secondary. There's several guys that you're looking at are going to be out. So, yeah, give me DJ Moore. Look for the Bears to try and make a statement. Thanks, man. You're doing a stream before the first games tomorrow. I will not be. I wish I could. I'm going to be out in the ball fields with my kiddo. She's got a softball tournament. I'm out of the field at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, or actually, we got to be there at 7 a.m. First game's at 8 a.m. So, no, I won't be doing one. I might throw, if I'm around and I can do it, I'll throw a short out there for sure, and take some questions, some last minute questions, and respond to those as I can. But I don't know how much I'll be able to with the kiddo having a tournament. So, wish I could. I really wish I could do streams before, but Sundays are usually at the ball fields. So, but if I have the opportunity to, I'll throw a short out there and do some, last minute start sit questions on the short, as well as you can just comment on any of the shorts and throw that on there, and we'll definitely respond to those. If I don't get to them, RD should be able to get to them. I got hosed by Pickens and AJ Brown. They can all go quit the game. I'm going to lose my week one. I mean, dude, Duncan, you're not the only one who's in that boat, right? With Pickens, Pickens 3 catches for 15 yards, I think it was. AJ 1 for 8. But hey, no problem, Messman. Thank you, man. At least you didn't have Xavier Worthy. I started Worthy. Got me a big old goose egg. 0 catches, 0 yards, 0, 0, 0, 0. Still waiting to find out what's going to be going on with him. I ain't seen any updates on him yet. So that's just a big old fat goose egg, and sucks. I'm expecting some big things out of Xavier Worthy this year, and then Travis Kelce takes him out. Boom. Clips him. Shoulder. It could be out for a while. That sucks. What that does though is Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood. I think he saw a pretty good game out of Hollywood. Look for him to kind of step it up some more in the weeks going forward. And Juju Smith-Schuster to kind of become relevant again. He had a decent game. And with Xavier Worthy out, yeah, no. Those two guys getting no Rashee Rice. Someone's got to Tay-Tay's boys getting hit on his team, then catching the ball, right? But yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be relevant again in fantasy, especially for the next 5 weeks until Rashee Rice comes back. And then by then, he might be able to find his way to work his way into that offense and kind of become relevant for this whole year, which is crazy because I didn't even know the guy was still in the league. And next thing you know, you see he's there with Kansas City. And you're like, okay, this is a guy that had some success with them a few years back. Um, and now he's back, and you got, again, no Rice for the first 6 weeks. We don't know what's going on with Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce is a shell of himself. He really is. Um, he had 2 catches and a touchdown for 40 yards or something like that. If it's not for that touchdown catch, you get absolutely nothing out of him. Travis Kelce, I think, is going to end up being TD dependent. Um, and that's not a good place to be for a tight end, you know. Uh, I don't think Kansas City didn't really look that great. Again, it's week 1. Let's not panic. Let's not freak out. But you're expecting more. You're expecting better things out of that Kansas City offense. And, maybe that's a tale of how good the Chargers are going to be this year. Jim Harbaugh's second year. He's getting his players in there, really working things out. Justin Herbert looked great. Justin Herbert was the better quarterback. He looked better. Quentin Johnson didn't drop the ball. He had 2 touchdowns. Maybe they're figuring something out there. Quentin Johnson's over there with a stickum on his hands. Looked like he jerked off an elephant, right? But he's catching the ball, not dropping it. Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen looked right at home, right where he was. Omarion Hampton wasn't awful. I do expect more out of Omarion Hampton as the season goes on. I feel like the usage was a little bit low. Look for that usage to go up on him for him to get more carries as the season goes on. But he was the dominant figure there in that backfield. Najee Harris only had a few carries. It was clear. It was 100% clear that it is Omarion's backfield. And Harbaugh likes to run the ball. So look for Omarion just to get better as the season goes on. Now, Kansas City is also pretty good against the run. So that has a little bit to do with, kind of slowing that down some. But yeah, look for Omarion Hampton to have a big year this year. Maybe this is Herbert's year. Maybe this is the year that he finally has that. I mean, we've been talking about Herbert breaking out for years. A few years ago, I had him as my number 1 QB, and he let me down. Hardcore. I still believe in him. He also did reach the point, though, to where I'm looking at him this year, and if he doesn't produce this year and doesn't put up the numbers this year, I'm now going to go ahead and just tell you right now that he is the Kyle Pitts of quarterbacks if he can't put it together this year. So Herbert's really got to step up this year. He's got to produce. He did in week 1. Let's look to see if he continues to do it. I really like that Chargers offense. So again, guys, any questions you have, start, sit. Maybe you're already getting trade offers. You want some help looking at those, let us know. Just drop some comments in there, and I'll get to all the comments that we got going in here, guys. Still kind of going down through the NFL right now. We are sitting at the Las Vegas and Patriots game. Raiders and the Patriots. I like Ashton Jeanty. Let's look for him to get a full workload in a game, right? I'm definitely playing him in the leagues that I do have him in. Geno Smith, we'll see what he does with this offense. Jacoby Myers. Brock Bowers looks to continue from his monster year last year. And then on the New England side of things, again, I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson over TreVeyon Henderson. I'm not playing TreVeyon week 1 just because he's listed down the depth chart. What we know of Mike Vrabel with rookie running backs is he likes to ease them into the offense. So I'm going to go ahead and pump the brakes on TreVeyon as the season starts. I do like Drake May. Look for him to continue to grow and get better, but look for that New England team to kind of establish themselves as a run team and look to take it out on Vegas. The Tom Brady owned Vegas Raiders. Let's go down to Arizona and New Orleans. Kyler, we're good on Kyler right now, right? Early in the season, Kyler is good. James Conner, until proven otherwise, yes. But look for Trey Benson to kind of start to take that backfield over as the year goes on. James Conner's hit that magical age in the 30s, and that's when your running backs typically will fall off. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s really got to step it up this year. Um, really disappointing rookie year, not what you were expecting out of him. He's really got to step it up. Trey McBride, obviously, we like Trey McBride. Look for him to continue his kind of assertion that he put in that offense last year. And on the New Orleans side of the ball, I don't want to touch anything over there. Like, I mean, I guess Kamara, right? I'm nervous about all the receivers with Spencer Rattler being the QB1 there. You saw a little bit out of him last year, and what you saw wasn't good. Now, when he was in there, you had no Olave. We got Olave. I don't think we had Rashid Shaheed. So you've got a full complement of receivers there. New coach Kellen Moore. We'll see. I don't know. For right now, I'm avoiding the New Orleans team. I'm not playing anybody over there on the New Orleans side of the ball. I just don't trust them right now. So until they can prove otherwise, yeah, you know, Pittsburgh and the Jets. I mean, the Jets are good. They're going to look to establish the run. They want to run the ball. Um, you can see a lot out of Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Justin Fields running the ball, passing the ball, Garrett Wilson. Pittsburgh side of things, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I'm not touching Aaron Rodgers. Um, I will mess around with DK, right? Uh, running back wise, Jalen Warren's going to be a starter there. Caleb Johnson, you're not sure what the workload's really going to be to start off with. I really like Caleb Johnson. I feel like he's going to be the guy that really takes over there. Week 1, I just don't know. Hopefully you got better options there and you can kind of sit on them. But we know Jalen Warren's going to be the starter. Giants in Washington. Jane Daniels, can he repeat what he did last year? Terry McLaurin's got his new contract. Hopefully he's happy. Deebo Samuel's in that offense. Running back wise, I mean, Eckler, I'll probably play Eckler week 1. Bill, he's RB number 4. We weren't really expecting. We were really expecting him to be that RB number 1. It's Austin Eckler. So let's just kind of keep our eyes on there. But to start off with, until proven otherwise, I mean, Eckler's going to be the guy that they're going to look to do things with. Eckler's shown to be a dominant back, a lot of TDs, things like that. So we can go with him. On the New York side of things, Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart is QB number 2. Malik Neighbors is supposed to be playing. Keep an eye on him with the back. Jonathan, I'll get your question here in 1 second over there on TikTok. Tyrone Tracy, I like Tyrone Tracy. I am a little bit concerned that Cam Scadaboo might end up being a TD vulture and stealing some TDs away from him. So we'll see there, but I do like Tyrone Tracy. I thought he really came into his own as he became the number 2 guy, or became the number 1 guy there and took over that offense the second half of the season. Wan'Dale Robinson might be a guy if you're in a deeper league to keep an eye on for sure. Duncan going to head out. Lions, go Pack, go. Have fun at the Ball Diamond, go Pack. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Duncan. Thanks for stopping by. All right, Jonathan, Monty or Aaron Jones? I'm going Monty. I'm going Monty. Guy's a touchdown machine. Touchdown machine. Yes, I think Gibbs is going to end up being. I think Gibbs is supposed to be the starter out there, and he's going to be out there to start with. But you're going to see Detroit continue to use both guys, and you're going to see both guys coming close to 100 yards every week, I think. And I mean, Monty's he's a touchdown magnet. He really is. You saw a lot of camp where Monty was actually lining up in receiver sets. So you could actually see a little bit extra work with him. We might start to get what I've been wanting to see more of the last couple of years is Gibbs and Monty both in the field, on the field at the same time, I think that would just be a nightmare for offenses, along with Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Isaac Tesla, Sam Laporta. But yeah, give me Monty over Aaron Jones. It's close, but I still think Monty is the guy to go with. Chandler started A.J. Brown and Worthy. I'm off to a hot start, bro. What are we going to do? I was kind of wary of A.J. Brown to begin with when this year started, to be honest with you. Just because the way that Philly team runs, they work, they're a run team. That's what they are. I did not think A.J. Brown was going to get shut down like that. I would have told you to start him. But, I mean, man, yeah, that sucks. And then Worthy. Yeah, I started Worthy in a couple leagues. Got the big old goose egg. Gotta love getting the goose egg, right? But here's the thing. It's week 1. Don't panic. Don't freak out. We're going to keep our fingers crossed for Worthy that he's not going to be out for a long time. If he is going to miss, look to pick up Juju Smith-Schuster. That's a guy that's going to be available in the majority of your leagues right now. If we get the word that Worthy's going to miss a significant amount of time, Juju is the guy to go pick up. I think Juju's going to, we saw a decent game out of him this week for a guy that I had no idea was even still in the league until I was like, oh, whoa, he's on Kansas City. I actually, before the game, I had picked him up I've got a dynasty league that's super deep, where you're picking up like some of the best guys out there was Juju Smith. At least, well, hold on. Yeah, Chandler. Oh, buddy. At least I have a healthy CMC as RB1. LOL. Season is going to crap quick. And Chandler, I hopefully I don't get this look, I don't want CMC hurt. Okay. I love the NFL with CMC in it. He's a dynamic player. He's awesome. But I was 100% on board with just staying away from him this year. Everybody was taking him in the first round. He's back. And I'm like, just pump the brakes, guys. I talked about it last year, and I'm going to continue to compare him to Todd Gurley. CMC is Todd Gurley all over again. The best thing out there, arthritis kicks in. Now, with CMC, it was of the Achilles and not the knees like it was with Todd Gurley. But, I mean, it hit him like that, and Todd Gurley was done. CMC got hit with it, and, I mean, all the reports were, yeah, he's good. He hasn't missed any time. He's doing great. And then 2 days ago, he's limited in practice. He's dealing with a little injury over here, a little issue. Oh, it's kind of precautionary. Yeah, he's questionable. And you got him going, oh, yeah, no, I always expect to play until I don't. Well, yeah, we found that out last year, where here we are just before kickoff, we find out, oh, by the way, CMC's not playing. So if you got anybody in the noon window on your bench, I'm going to play them over CMC just because we don't know. We don't know. Hopefully you have someone else in the 3 o'clock window that you can maybe play, or maybe you got someone, on the Sunday night or the Monday night game. And so you could plug them in if we get the word that CMC is not going to play. But if you don't have anybody on your roster playing the same time or after him, I'm going to play whoever you got in the noon window. And then heck, if he does play and he balls out, and then we're like, okay, he is back, cool. You miss him for 1 week, but at least it's week 1. Hate even debating it, but I have Connor on my bench. I'd play Connor. Chandler, I'd play Connor. I'm not, but trust me, dude, I would play him. Unless we get a confirmation before noon that CMC is playing, I'd probably play Connor, man. Because if you don't, and then CMC doesn't play, well, now you got AJ and you got Worthy. So, or is it you're just going, hey, I'm going to go ahead. I'm already down 2 guys, right? If you're looking at PPR, I mean, your best case scenario is sitting at 1.8 points out of those 2 guys, and you're like, I need a boom game." Then okay, then you go with CMC, and if he doesn't play, well, you were kinda already screwed as it was to begin with, right? So that's kind of what you get. That's where you would kind of look at it and go, okay, if I am going to get a W this week, I need to have someone who's just going to absolutely ball out. And if he does play, the ceiling's much higher on CMC than it is Connor. Um, and then you go CMC and you just say, hey, if CMC doesn't play, guess what? I lost week 1. I'm in the same boat as half the other teams in my league. Going 0-1's not a big deal. It just is what it is. It happens all the time. Um, who cares if you lose your first week? Right. So that's the other end of that. You're like, okay, I've already played AJ Brown and Xavier Worthy, and I've got 1.8 points. I need someone who's going to get me 40. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be CMC. But if he doesn't play, hey, I'm projected to lose by like 28 points. So maybe I just write this week off is my thought process. But say CMC goes off and gets 30 plus burger, gives me my best chance to come. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, Chandler. Like that's your best bet if you look at it. Now, if we do get the word that he's not playing, then you sit his ass down and you play James Conner. Right. But yeah, no, that's just you hate for that to happen in week 1. And it's something I'm going to talk about here this next week. Um, don't panic after losing week 1. Don't freak out. Don't drop your roster. Don't make a ton of cuts. You just wait. And you see what happens as the season goes on, right? Um, you draft the, play the guys that you roll with the guys you drafted, trust your draft board, trust your draft, and see how it plays out. But don't freak out after week 1. Dante's in the house. What's going on, Dante, over there on YouTube? How do you feel about Javonte Williams this year? Upside. Javonte Williams is going to be TD dependent, is what he's going to be. It's going to be dependent on the touchdown. Because if you take the touchdowns away, you don't get much out of them, right? So you got to hope that Cowboys team gets down to the red zone, gets it down close, and then that they keep giving it to him. Now, here's the other thing that you've got to kind of keep your eyes on. Like right now, I'd probably play Javonte Williams next week, right? Depending on who I have. I got to look at my other RBs. But if I have them, I'm definitely not getting rid of them. Hell, I might even be looking to unload him, trade while the stock's high. Because one thing that you got to think about now, they had Miles Sanders in there. And Miles Sanders is doing okay. He has the big run, but then he fumbles the ball. And that's where the whole game changed. That, and of course, that also happened the same time as the weather delay. But Dallas was right there, driving right down, getting ready to score another, at least 3, right? But I didn't see anything that said they weren't going to, didn't make me feel like they weren't going to score a touchdown there. Does Miles Sanders now become the guy that doesn't play? And now you're putting in Jaden Blue. You get the young guy in there. And maybe there's something with Jaden Blue. I don't know. But for right now, yeah, I'm getting Javonte Williams, possibly even playing him. There is some upside to him for sure, way more than I thought we were going to have. But also like we didn't really know what was going on with that Cowboys running back room before the game. You had a lot of guys that were hurt. You had a lot of guys who didn't play. Um, we didn't have a good feel for it. Plus, it's a brand new offense. You barely saw anything out of it in preseason. Shoddy's not going to show everything that he can. I'll get you here in 1 second, Jacob. But yeah, there is some upside to Javonte. Right now, he's in my TD dependent category, kind of like Travis Etienne was last year. Travis Etienne was TD dependent. If he didn't get a TD, he wasn't worth playing. Javonte, if he doesn't get a TD, yeah, yeah, keep him on my bench for now. And then, like I said, we'll have a talk next week as far as are we going to insert him into our lineup. You know, let's take a look at who else you got. Let's take a look at some matchups. Maybe we do throw him in there and we say, hey, we feel good about him here. Um, but I'm either trading him high, right? This is his high point of the season, and maybe you can get a lot, especially if there's any running backs that go down this week, right? And someone's like, crap, I'm down my starting RB. Oh look, he's got Javonte. Let me see if I could trade for him, and maybe you can score yourself a pretty good wide receiver, or something like that. Jacob, need one for my flex spot, Cup or Dobbins PPR. See, you got two guys brand new in the system. That's a tough one. Hey, no problems, Dante. I'm here I'm gonna be here every Saturday night, just so you guys know. But the time is typically gonna be around 10:30, 11 Central Standard Time, just depending on my kiddo plays softball. We have tournaments a lot on the weekends, and sometimes we get home late and don't know what time I get home at. So, but Cooper Kupp, J.K. Dobbins, PPR. I mean, what are we going to get out of Sam Darnold? What are we going to get out of Cooper Kupp? How much work is J.K. going to get? R.J. Harvey's right there knocking on the door. I think Dobbins is a good play in week 1. Denver's playing Tennessee. I definitely like that matchup. They've got to come out. They got to come out big, right? And then Seattle, they're playing San Francisco. They invested all this money in Kupp. They invested this money in Darnold. Man, that is a tough one. I think I want to lean Dobbins because I like the matchup more. I like the matchup of Denver and Tennessee versus Seattle in San Francisco. San Francisco's got a lot to prove this year. Their defense is, they've got a ton of problems on the offensive side. The defense, for the most part, isn't awful. You just don't know what you're going to get out of Kupp. You don't know what you're going to get out of Darnold. Dobbins is a guy that you know that if he's healthy, he's going to be good, especially in an offense like that Denver offense. I don't know that I'm necessarily worried about R.J. Harvey taking things over week 1. I think R.J. Harvey's going to be more so when Dobbins gets hurt. And again, it's a statement of when Dobbins gets hurt. So, week 1, Denver, Tennessee, give me J.K. Dobbins over Cooper Kupp. Is close though. Like for me, that one's close. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with that versus the guy in a brand new receiver, brand new quarterback, brand new offense. Yeah, I'm gonna write that one down and keep an eye on how that one does. Dobbins PPR. But yeah, look for Dobbins to have a touchdown or two this week for sure. I think against Tennessee. You could see Denver going up big and then them just running the ball and pounding it and just running the clock out. There's a lot of scenarios that I see there that I like more so with Dobbins than with Cooper Kupp in Seattle. Although that is definitely a player I'm keeping an eye on. I did draft him in a couple of my leagues later as a wide receiver, 4 or 5, on my bench. He's a guy that if he comes out and he plays like he has in years past and he's still got something in the tank and Sam Darnold comes in and is the same guy that he was last year and not the guy he was for all those years with, Carolina, with the Jets, if he is truly the guy that he was in Minnesota, although a really good situation there in Minnesota for sure. Seattle is definitely a run first team, so it does take some pressure off of Darnold as they're going to run the ball a lot, but that also takes away some of the work that he has to do. So, but I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on Cooper Kupp for this year, and I want to see what that target share looks like. Where does he fall on that depth chart? Is JSN the number one out there and Cooper Kupp is the number two? We really don't know. We're not going to know until we see what happens this week. And even this week might not even be a telltale sign for it, but you're going to look at the target share. How many times is he getting, the ball thrown his way? How many times does JSN have the ball being thrown his way? But also, like, what did the defense look like with San Francisco? So, but yeah, week one, give me J.K. Dobbins over Cooper Kupp. Oh man, so great to be back, guys. Absolutely love this. Football's back. We've had 2 games happen so far. We've had some disappointing performances. We've had some pretty good performances. We had guys like Javonte Williams who came out of nowhere. And then we've had some guys who we're still looking for them. If anybody's seen A.J. Brown, let us know. What's going on with Xavier Worthy? Again, if you're a guy who had Xavier Worthy and we find out he's going to be out for a while, you need to go ahead and Juju Smith-Schuster is a guy to go pick up. Hollywood and some other leagues. Fields or Lawrence this week? I'm going to go ahead and go with give me Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence. Look for that Jacksonville offense to be much improved this year. Look at what Cohn did there in Tampa with Baker. Trevor Lawrence is a guy that there's a ton of weapons around him. You add Travis Hunter, which everything you're reading is Travis Hunter is going to be a wide receiver every play. He's going to be on the field. He's the number 2 wide receiver behind Brian Thomas Jr. And he's going to be a situational cornerback. Is what you're seeing. So the focus is really him on the offense. Trevor Lawrence has spoken out about him and how much he loves him and he wants him on the field. Brian Thomas Jr. was just a man amongst boys last year, finishing in the top 5 in your PPR formats. What's going to go on with that running situation? They'll figure it out, but they will have a decent run game. Yeah, I like Trevor Lawrence. Here's a guy that I like that you could probably go and pick up in most of your leagues right now. Brenton Strange, tight end. He didn't get a ton of play last year because obviously, Evan Ingram, but now that Evan Ingram's gone, in those weeks where you saw Evan Ingram out last year, Brenton Strange was a must play. He was great. He was awesome. So if you've got a tight end that you're unsure about, Brenton Strange, especially if you already got Trevor Lawrence, I'm okay with that stack because I think Brenton Strange is going to have himself a good year this year. Justin Fields, I think Justin Fields will be okay this year, but Trevor Lawrence is definitely, I think he'll be better. Justin Fields, you're going to get the passing, you're going to get the rushing, big plays, things like that. But you are going to get the fumbles. You are going to get the interceptions. But yeah, give me Trevor Lawrence there, Jacob, for sure. Dante, A.J. Brown fell to the 3rd round to me in a 12-team PPR. And you got to draft him in it. I mean, at that point, right? And then he goes and kicks you in the nuts week 1. Oh, man. I laugh because that's how I deal with pain. And that's what fantasy football is. Should I trade him? No, I wouldn't trade him, Dante. I'd hold on to A.J. Brown. He's going to be fine. It's what I talk about every year, guys. Now, if you get a really good offer, yeah, trade him. But I don't know that the trade market's going to be very high on him right now because of what he did in week 1. But here's what I like to talk about, guys. It's week 1. It's 1 week. Relax. Don't make a move you're going to regret later. He's A.J. Brown. He's still a top 10 receiver in the league. Look for him to ball out next week. I don't know. I think they play. I think they have Kansas City next week, which is going to be a tough matchup. But AJ Brown's not going to go 1 for 8 again next week, and on one target that you got with 3 minutes left in the game. It's not going to happen. It's not going to. They are going to go ahead and get him the ball. They're going to target him. He's going to be better next week. That's all there is to it. Don't panic. Don't freak out. It's 1 week. And here's the thing we know about the NFL after week 1. We know nothing. You know nothing. You start to get some ideas. Like, again, like we were talking about with Javonte. I'm not going to go all in on Javonte. It's 1 week. You take away the touchdowns, you get nothing from him. So I kind of put him in my TD dependent area, right? But AJ Brown, he's going to be fine. Don't worry, he's going to be okay. He'll still be one of your top wide receivers. It's 1 week. Relax. Don't panic. We don't want to panic after week 1, guys. We want to keep a level head and don't be the guy. This happened. I talk about this every year. And I give my buddy crap about it because a few years ago we had a couple things happen a few weeks ago, or not a few years ago. I had a buddy who, after week 1, it was a bad week 1. He had dropped Pat Mahomes. Now this is before Pat Mahomes became Pat Mahomes, right? But he was like, "Oh no, let me drop him." Awful, and picked up I don't know, not Pat Mahomes, and then Pat Mahomes goes off and just balls out. The other player that happened with that big year that Darren Waller had, he didn't do anything in week 1, had a buddy who dropped him. And I was like, I went and picked him up and rode him to the championship. Because I doubled up on my tight ends because I had Mark Andrews and I had Darren Waller and I played them both. And they were both like a top 10 wide receiver in a tight end position, right? Good point. 1 week isn't enough sample time. It's not. It's 1 week. It's 1 week. Don't be the guy that drops Pat Mahomes after week 1. Now, if you have Pat Mahomes, let's go ahead and worry because last year wasn't great. We're starting off this year not so great. You got another tough matchup against Philadelphia in week 2. I am concerned about Pat Mahomes' viability. I think he's more of a situational play now as opposed to a every week starter like he used to be. And that's not based off of just 1 week. That's based off of our results from last season and kicking off this week, right? Kicking off this season. Pat Mahomes is I'm gonna keep my eyes on you, buddy. I'm not. He's a guy that I've kind of avoided. I avoided him last year. I avoided him this year in drafts. Went with other guys. I would much rather have Jared Goff. I have Hollywood Brown on the bench. What do I do with him? I think you play. You got to see what happens with Worthy. If Worthy doesn't play, I'm probably throwing Hollywood into my starting lineup. Hollywood's a guy that I like. I liked him last year. And then going into, fluke injury on the first play in the preseason, right? And he's out almost all year. Comes back towards the end of the season. And by that time, what's he going to be able to do? Healthy coming into the season, a guy that I like this year. Mahomes did super target him. And especially if Worthy's going to be out. If Worthy is going to miss significant time, I am going Hollywood and I'm going Juju Smith-Schuster. Those two guys right there. You saw, again, I talked about it. Juju was a guy that you didn't know was in the league. A lot of people didn't know he was in the league until they saw him on the field yesterday. And you're like, holy crap, he's still in the league? Yeah. And, a few years ago, we had an all right season with the Chiefs, and now he's back with them, and Rice is out, and now possibly Worthy's out for a while. So he's got to throw the ball to someone, And I think Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood Brown are the new top 2 targets going forward for the next few weeks, and we'll see if they don't find a way to just work their way into the offense for the rest of the season. So, but yeah, no, I'm all in on Hollywood. He had a good game this last week. Look for that trend to continue, especially if Worthy is out. I'm gonna I'm going to go all in on Hollywood next week, especially if Worthy is out. So, let's see here. What else we got here, guys? Hey, Duncan, if you're still in here, I'm just now starting to see the reports coming through. So, hey, Jameson Williams gets an $83 million extension, 3 years. So that's awesome for Lions fans. I think that's awesome kind of for JMO. It kind of gives them a little bit of sense of security. I was kind of thinking that there might be a situation where they kind of separate from JMO after this season with Isaac Tesla. I think that's a guy that I think is going to emerge as being a pretty good target for Jared Goff there in that offense. But with JMO, I like JMO this year. He's a guy that I bought in on in dynasty leagues. Really last year was buying in on him in dynasty leagues, actively trading for him, getting him in drafts where you release some players into the draft, and he was one of those guys in some of those leagues. He had a good year last year, over 1,000 yards receiving. Look for him to expand upon that this year. I think you're going to see 1,000 yards receiving, and I think you're going to see those touchdown numbers go up. And big plays, big play. He's going to be one of those guys that if you have a league that benefits from 40-plus yard scoring plays, where you get extra points for that, you will benefit from having JMO, because I think you're going to have some big plays from him, some big home runs out of him this year. So let me know, guys, if you got any more questions. I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. JMO reminds me of Pickens. Okay. I can see that. I can see, yeah. I think JMO was I think JMO's more electric though. It's that speed though. Pickens is fast, but he's not JMO fast. JMO is the dude is fast. It's not fast as boy. But yeah, no, I can definitely see some comparisons there for sure. I think JMO's gonna have. I think JMO made some dumb mistakes a couple of years ago. I think he's got more of I think he's got a little bit of a better head on his shoulders than Pickens. But time will tell on that. Maybe Pickens will be a little bit better this year out of Pittsburgh and Dallas. We'll see. But yeah, no, I love JMO. But again, I'm a Detroit guy, so I absolutely love him. Let's see here. Where did we leave off? We're on Carolina and Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I talked about a little while ago. I like Trevor Lawrence. I like BTJ. I like Travis Hunter. I don't know what I'm doing with the running backs there. I'm probably avoiding playing any of those running backs in week 1 just because I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm going to stay away from things that I'm unsure of. Carolina, is Bryce Young him? Did he figure it out at the end of the year last year? I mean, he definitely looked better after coming off the bench. They benched him, let him kind of sit down, get his head together. Came back, was much better. T-Mac everyone's declaring him the wide receiver number 1 there. I like Xavier Leggett. I thought he finished the year pretty good. And I feel like everyone's just forgetting about him because there's a new shiny toy there with T-Mac. But I like Leggett. He's a guy that I have stock in him. I have him in some leagues. I drafted him really late. So he's not one of my starters, but he's on my bench for right now. And he's a guy that, he's going to find some playing time situational wise, bye week wise. Possibly, if he does as good as I think he's going to do this year, possibly trade a guy that I'll trade and get what I can out of him, and look to improve some other places. Oh man, I'm not gonna. What's going on with CMC? Feel like Niners aren't being upfront. Dude, I've talked about it and I'll keep talking about it. I will keep pounding the table on this because this is something that I truly believe. And I'm not just saying it for clicks or anything like that. I said it last year. I said it leading up to this year. CMC is Todd Gurley. And he's at the phase of Todd Gurley's career where he was just non-existent. Uh, I'm if I have, I'm playing anybody but him. Like if I don't have any, if I don't have any running backs in the 3 o'clock window or Sunday night or the Monday night that I can plug in once I find out that he's not playing, I'm going to play my guys in the noon window that I know they're healthy, that I know are going to play. Now, we did, we do had, you know, uh, uh, your situation, right? Or not you, Chandler was in here where he had AJ Brown and Xavier Worthy, and he's now projected to lose by a lot. And he's like, he's also got CMC, and so it's like, what am I doing here? And he's gonna go ahead and hold on a second. I gotta play with this here. Unable to verify. What the heck? No, don't kill my live. Hold on. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. He's still going to play CMC because it's either him or James Conner. And he's down big because he had AJ Brown and he had Xavier Worthy. So he's got 1.8 points out of those two guys that you're expecting a lot more out of. So he's going to play CMC because he's got if he does play, he's got the best chance to just go off and just have a huge game, right? Now, if he finds out before the noon game that CMC is not playing, he's going to plug in James Conner then. But it's, you know what? Hey, I'm already screwed. Let's write off week one. Let's go ahead and go with three guys who are going to do nothing for me, right? But yeah, no, I'm not playing. I didn't avoid him, or I guess you would say I did avoid him. I wasn't touching CMC, especially with the first round price tag that he was going for in leagues this year. I was not willing to spend a first round pick on CMC. I don't know that I would have been willing to spend I wouldn't have spent a second round, and I don't think I would have spent a third round pick on him this year. I did not like him coming into this year. I don't care what the reports were. And then here we are a couple days before it starts. Yeah, first round was too high. Yeah, 100%. And I posted things about that. And people were like, well, it's worth the risk to me. Cool. Then that's you. That's how you're weighing it. If he's worth the risk for you, take him. I would much rather spend my first round pick on a guy that I know I don't have all these questions around. And that's what you have with CMC. And then here we are, just like we were last year, a couple days before a game, and now all of a sudden we don't know what's going on. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? I just don't. I would have taken Genty over him in a heartbeat. Yes, 100%. If you gave me the option between CMC and Genty, I'm going to take Genty. That's what I would have done. And there's not. It just is what it is. And you know what? Hey, maybe CMC does play this year and he goes off and he has a great year. Cool. For me, it just wasn't worth the risk. I just don't want to risk it. I want to go with the guy that I'm not as concerned about, right? I'm just not doing it. I said it last year. I said don't he's he was out. Oh crap, we're all shocked, right? This year I'm not shocked. And then as they were talking about him coming back, I was like, guys, it's not happening right now. And I started comparing him to Todd Gurley last year. He's arthritis in the Achilles versus arthritis in the knees, but still, it's not like it's just an injury that he's overcoming. It's something that's affecting his body, and he's had a ton of usage in this league, and that's what happens. No matter how good you take care of yourself, unless you're a freak like Adrian Peterson, age catches up to you. But yeah, it caught up to him. Um, I think CMC's done. I really do. Um, yeah, I'm just not doing it. Soft tissue injuries linger, especially for athletes. Yeah, and he's a speed guy, and soft tissue injuries linger a lot longer for speed guys, for sure too. Those are your guys that it really affects. It really does. So yeah, I think CMC's done, and that kind of takes me to, the next game that's on the docket that I'm talking about. We got San Francisco and Seattle. I'm not playing CMC. I love Ricky Purcell. I love Ricky Purcell. Um, Juwan Jennings, we'll see. He's dealing with some injuries. I don't know. Um, the news came out that Brian Robinson Jr. is the RB2 there. I would have thought it was going to be Isaac Garendo because he knows the offense. He's done great in it, but they came out and said, "Hey, we traded for him for a reason. He's our RB2." George Kittle, he should have another good year, but we're also going to start getting towards the years where Kittle starts to fade. Um, so just be wary. Maybe this is the year. Hopefully not. Seattle, I don't know. Oh, I just don't know about Seattle this year. Is Sam Darnold that guy? Does Cooper Cup still have anything left in the tank? I do like JSN. Is it Kenneth Walker the third? Is it Zach Charbonnet who's going to be the RB there? Um, I don't want to touch Seattle. I did take Cooper Cup late in some drafts. Um, as an RB4, RB5, not RB, but wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, to keep an eye on to see what he does. See if he has anything left in the tank. What we got? Dante, I hope he does because I love Cooper Cup. A little sad to see him leave Rams because him and Stafford, buddy, he was really great. But you go and you get Devontae Adams, and then you still got Puka there. There just wasn't room, right? Um, but yeah, hopefully he has a Wes Welker type. Welker leaves Pats, goes to Denver, partners up with Peyton Manning for a few years, and has some good years. Hopefully. Detroit and Green Bay. I love, again, I'll talk about Tom Blue in the face. I love Detroit this year. I love Detroit's offense. In every single one of my leagues, I have something from there. What's the order of the Browns backfield? I picked up Samson just in case. I have Samson just in case too, Dante. I think right now it's Jerome Ford. Um, but I think Samson might end up being the guy. Also, they did finally sign Quinshawn Judkins. They drafted him in the second round for a reason. The guy's good. It's gonna take him a little bit to get up to speed with everything right. But he finally got signed. Um, I'm just avoiding it right now. I'm not playing anybody out of there. Samson is a guy that I got late in some picks in some drafts. I think at some point in time this guy might step up and kind of take over. But also now with the Judkins signing, I don't know. Because that's obviously the guy they drafted to be the guy. Spending that second round pick on him. But you saw a lot out of Samson during the preseason. He really impressed. He looked good. Looked like the better back. Now we'll see once we're playing, non-vanilla defenses, right? Defenses that are trying. You're playing the starters. You're not playing the second, third, fourth stringers, things like that. So we'll see what he looks like then. Yeah, just waiting. Just waiting. Jerome Ford was supposed to be the guy last year, and he just kind of disappeared, right? Was kind of poof. He was gone. He was Kaiser Soze. Um, You don't know, right? I was actually looking, last year. I was like, "Hey, Jerome Ford's a guy," and then he was like, "No, no, I'm not a guy." So we'll see. He did battle some injuries last year, but when he was healthy, he wasn't anything. So again, like right now, I'm just not touching that Cleveland running back room. I'm staying away from it. They could stay over there. I'm gonna stay over here. You don't look at me, I don't look at you, and we're gonna be fine. I am peeking over at Samson a little bit, and might be peeking over at Judkins here a little bit for the coming weeks. But for right now, no, I'm not gonna do it. Back to Detroit and Green Bay. Um, Detroit's gonna look to make a statement. They are. Uh, Look for Gibbs, Demo, JMO, St. Brown. Tesla might get in on the action, you know. Laporta, Golf. I love Golf this year. I don't know why everybody's so down on him in fantasy this year. He's been top 5 like the last 2 years. Look for him to continue that trend this year. That offense is going to be fine without Ben Johnson. Chad Morton is a guy who was in this offense. Um, a fun fact: Ben Johnson offered him offensive coordinator position there with Chicago, and he said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going to go to Detroit." So Chad Morton's a guy he's that offense is going to be just fine. Everyone who says that offense is going to fall off the face of the earth without Ben Johnson, you don't know what you're talking about. They're going to be just fine. Green Bay, I'm not in love with Jordan Love. Um, Injury, he's got the injury prone tag on him. He's already had surgery this year on the thumb. Um, Matthew Golden is going to be one of the starting wide receivers there. We'll see. I mean, they've been looking for someone to take over that receiver room, and nobody has. It's just a bunch of guys, and a bunch of guys who get hurt. So we'll see. Jordan Love's, decision making was kind of questionable. I just don't. I don't know. I don't trust them. I'm not looking at it. Reed has that weird foot injury. Yeah. I mean, Jaden Reed was supposed to be the guy. Uh, Christian Watson was supposed to be that guy. Um, you just keep continuing to say so and so was supposed to be that guy. So and so was supposed to be that guy with this receiver room. They have a whole bunch of dudes who were supposed to be that guy, and none of them have become that guy. Tucker Kraft looked okay last year. He's someone to kind of keep an eye on. Excuse me, tight end wise for cover bye weeks and things like that. Let's see here, Jacob. Need one, Tracy, Eckler, or Dobbins? Oh man, that's a tough one. I like Tyrone Tracy. I think that offense is going to be a little bit better this year. They're playing Washington, a tough matchup. Eckler is going to be your starting RB. He said draft him. And in years past, when Eckler said play me, he's done good. J.K. Dobbins is still healthy in Denver. I love the matchup in Tennessee. I think Eckler, you're looking at being TD dependent. I think Tracy has a solid game. And I think Dobbins has a real good game. I'm going to lean towards Dobbins this week. And it's close for me. It's just I like the matchup better. I like Denver against Tennessee versus the Giant. Washington and the Giants are playing each other. Divisional game. Eckler's older, right? Again, I got him down as TD dependent. Tracy is. I like him, but I also think that Scadaboo could be a TD vulture there in New York and could steal some TDs away from him. So I'm going to go Dobbins. I like Dobbins in week 1. Now talk to me in week 3. And do I still like Dobbins? I don't know. Because at some point in time, I think RJ Harvey takes that backfield over. I'm concerned about the Broncos get up big on Tennessee and they give Harvey more run in the second half. I I can see that, but I think if they go up big, Dobbins has something to do with it. So let's go ahead and throw that out there. If they do go up big, Dobbins has something to do with it. But also, Sean Payton has been known to trust veteran running backs more than rookie running backs. Um, yeah, I think what stops Dobbins is when he gets hurt. Um, yeah, I think you will Harvey will get the ball some, but also Peyton's shown to be able to work two RBs successfully. But I think if they go up big, I think Dobbins has something to do with that. I really do. So you could have a first half where Dobbins 80 yards and a touchdown or two. I like Pollard this year as a flex play. Should I trade for him? Depends on what I mean, you gotta let me know what we're getting, right? Or what we're giving up for him. But also, like, let's pump the brakes right now. I like Pollard. I thought Pollard had a decent year last year, but what's that offense going to look like this year? Um, what are they going to do with Cam Ward? Are they going to be heavy run, um, taking some pressure off of the rookie? Are they one of those teams that's going to go all in on the rookie to begin with? I don't know, but I would want to know what you're going to have to give up for him. If the price is right, sure, go for him. But it, again, it's hard to tell week one, and it's hard to tell when you have an offense that is going to be changing a lot with the new quarterback there, some new receivers. We'll see. I do like Pollard, but I wouldn't give up too much for him. He's also a guy that has shown that he battled some injuries last year too, right? Um, so let's kind of be wary of that. Right now, I think his numbers are going to be better with Tajay Spears out. Because Spears is dealing with an ankle injury, if I'm not mistaken. When Spears comes back, is he a guy that starts to kind of take over that backfield a little bit? Are we going to see more of a split? So while I think he might start off the year real big with Tajay Spears not playing, when Spears comes back, what does that do? But also Spears is showing some injury stuff. My back's include. I mean, I love Gibbs. Um, just trying to. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got to be concerned about Alvin Kamara. I think you got a lot of. I mean, if you're gonna have to clear someone out, if you're going to, and I don't know that I give up Gibbs, Kamara, or Jones. I mean, I'm holding on to those three for sure. Samson's an unknown commodity. We don't know what we're gonna get, and then we don't know if it's going to be Judkins at some point in time. Javonte, I've got him in the TD dependent category right now, but he's also he could be a big play, right? Um, I don't know if I got Pollard. I don't know that I'm not playing him over Gibbs, Kamara, or Jones right now. Um, Now Kamara could show to we might not get much out of him this year with Spencer Rattler back there. We got to see what's going to go on, but Kamara is a big potential guy. Uh, Jones is I think he's definitely going to get the ball right. Uh, Gibbs, I mean Gibbs is RB1 or RB2 this year. It's either going to be him or Chase Brown, I think. And then Javonte, we don't know, right? Um, I would want to know what you'd have to give away. Like have some conversations with the guy and be like, "Hey, what do you want for Pollard?" and see what he says, and then hit us up. Leave a comment. Leave a comment on one of them. Brees Hall or Jaylen Warren? Brees Hall. Brees Hall. Um, for me, I don't think it's close. I like Brees Hall a lot. I do think you'll see a split backfield there in New York. I'll ask him about. Yeah, get back to the next live, or just hey Dante, leave a comment on one of the shorts or on one of the videos. We look at all comments that we get, and we respond to them all. So you can leave a comment on any one of the videos, man. You don't have to wait. Yeah, Brees Hall. Is it PPR by any chance? DWBC. If it's PPR, I like Brees Hall even more. I think Brees Hall is going to be a back that catches the ball a lot. I think he's going to come out. You've had so many rumors of he was going to be traded, going to be traded, going to be traded, going to be traded. So I think he's going to come out and ball out to either try and get the attention of a good team to go and trade for him, or to say, hey, Aaron Glenn, don't count me out, bro. Jaylen Warren, with Jaylen Warren. I like Caleb Johnson is what concerns me about Jaylen Warren. I think once Caleb gets going, I think Jaylen they did give Jaylen an extension there, but I don't know that he can be the guy. He hasn't really shown that he can be the guy. He can have a big game here, he can have a big game there. But I think overall in week 1, yeah, I like Brees Hall. Give me Brees. Especially if it's PPR, I 100% like Brees more than I do Jaylen Warren. So, any other questions, guys? If not, I'm going to get out of here for the night. There will be a short that will be posted after this for any last minute start sits. I'll be out at the ball fields, but I'll be keeping my eyes on the comments as well as my partner RD. We go live Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central Time, about an hour before the Thursday night game kicks off, to answer your start sit questions there on Thursdays. We'll have shorts throughout the week, opportunities for you guys to ask more questions. If you have anything that you want to ask about, let us know in the comments. Just throw a comment out there. Hey guys, I got this trade request, this trade proposal. What do you think? Hey, I'm thinking about picking up this guy, dropping this guy, doing this. I do waiver wire targets for you guys to keep your eyes on. All that fun stuff. We do a lot of things, guys. This is, year 2 for us for the SB Fantasy Football Podcast. Dante, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate everyone over there on YouTube. Appreciate everyone over there on TikTok, guys. Appreciate all of you. Let's get some dubs this week, right? We're gonna get some dubs, but also if you lose week 1, don't panic. It's 1 week. Remember, if you lose week, you're with half the league. Half your league is 0-1. So don't panic. Don't freak out. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm Alan. I'll talk to you later. Deuces.